Maritime way. And now the seafarers, please now hear, you have my diamonds and my rubies. My dear friends, today again I welcome all of you to our channel, and today I'm thrilled to have Captain Pradeep Chawla with us. Captain Pradeep Chawla is for me also mentor in maritime world, and he idol for thousands of seafarers as well maritime personnel ashore. Captain Chawla is a visionary maritime leader dedicated to sustainable maritime practices and enhancing seafarers' welfare. He embarked on his maritime journey in 1974 as a deck cadet, sailed on various ship types, attained the rank of master in 1986, and then he had a transition to shore job in 1992. Captain Chawla has been worked in Anglo Eastern ship management as a managing director for QHSC and training for more than 30 years, yeah, Captain Chawla?
That's right, 30 years.
30 years. 30. And Anglo Eastern manager of more than 500 ships.
700.
Oh, now 700. No. You see, that's good. In 1992, Captain Chawla authored and published a book on safety at sea in Hindi and Tagalog.
Yeah.
Tagalog, this is a local language.
Philippines.
Yeah?
Philippines, yeah.
Philippines. He serves as an invited member of the Shipping Consultative Committee to the Hong Kong government and chairs the Nautical Subcommittee of the Hong Kong Ships Owners Association. Captain Chawla is a former chairman of the Global Met. Not former, you are present also, yeah, chairman.
Yeah.
Present also chairing Global Met Association and former vice president and council member of the Nautical Institute, yeah, UK. Or you are now also vice president of...
No, former.
Former. He has also served as a competent person for the IMO. I can say a competent expert for the IMO. So Captain Chawla experience and background to share, you know, I think that even in 2 hours, we will not finish. So Captain Chawla, welcome to my channel. And this for me honor that you are here. You tell me, Captain Chawla, today what we have challenges in maritime industry regarding seafarers. We all know that after 2 years, as per BIMCO, there will be crisis of 86,000 seafarers. You tell me what is going in industry.
Thank you for your kind words, Dr. Binay. Just to correct on my biodata, I'm no longer in the Hong Kong committee, the first 2 things that you said, because that was when I was still with Anglo Eastern. I retired 1 year ago from Anglo Eastern, and I'm now running a company called MarinePals, which is doing training, making videos, games for learning, and virtual reality training programs. Now, coming to your question about what are the challenges for the seafarers, the 86,000 people shortage, I don't think is much to worry about, because every report in the last 20 years has been saying that there is going to be a shortage of seafarers, and somehow no ship has ever been stopped from running because of the shortage of seafarers. So what is possibly possibly the feeling is about having the right quality of people for the right ships. So at any given time, like you have been doing manning, you know that sometimes there is a shortage on chemical tankers, sometimes there's a shortage on LPG vessels. So right now, I would say that the most challenging shortage that is there is for people who will need to be trained on the alternative fuels. So a DNV report says that 800,000 seafarers will need to be trained in the next 10 years for alternate fuels like LNG, ammonia, methanol, and whatever else comes out. So that is the challenge. But the long-term challenges is still having the right quality of people to prevent accidents at sea, and which means that a lot more training is required in our industry in order to reduce the number of incidents that we have. There is a recent report from Intermanager, which is submitted to IMO, and there are various other reports that are coming out that enclosed space deaths are still not reducing. And in spite of having all kinds of regulations for it, we still have a number of deaths every year. due to people entering enclosed spaces. And this intermanager report highlights that. So the challenges that are there is not about numbers, but it's a challenge about quality and about running ships safely. That is a challenge.
What are the most pressing challenges faced by seafarers today, and how can the industry address them more effectively? Because you told that there will be no any crisis of seafarers. I'm agree with you, because this BIMCO announcing this crisis for a long time, and others also, union and statistics authority, they are announcing, but there is nothing happening like this. Because same time, if you say millions of seafarers are without job,
Yeah,
always, it means that there will be no any crisis. Yeah, you are right. A specialized vessel, because vessels are specializing faster than seafarers are specializing. That is a problem.
right.
That is an issue. So you have also developed your training. Can you describe about your training? What is USP of your training?
Okay, so training by most of the providers for shipboard online training has been, there are basically around 10 companies in that sector. Two of them are very big. And the big companies, the biggest company bought out four other companies to become a very big company. The second largest is also used to be public listed and it's a big company otherwise. So a lot of this content that they have was built over many years. And for the time that it was built, it was good content. I have used the content from all of these companies in the past. But what is changing is the social habits of people. So there are many things that are happening to the youngsters. One, their span of attention is reducing because they are bombarded with so much data today that they have to choose to read everything in headlines. If you take any 18, 20-year-old college student, they do not watch news channel. They do not read a newspaper. They only get their news from instant Instagram or headline news of CNN or whatever channel they like. So that's one of the things that is happening. The second thing is that if you send a big circular to the ships, 20 pages or even 4 pages, let's say published by a P&I club, nobody reads it. People are too busy or the reading habit is reducing. So as a result of that, any content that was very long format is not being utilized fully. So my company decided to disrupt the industry by changing the way we learn, by giving learning content in a different way. So we make micro learning videos, which are less than 7 minutes long. And I'm happy to see that my competitors are also now using the same 7 minute formula in their presentations. So we do 7 minute videos. We also do some which are even shorter because people like the Instagram reels and they like YouTube shorts and that kind of format. We make games for learning and we do training in virtual reality. Now, both games and virtual reality are new kind of formats in our industry. And even in other industries, VR has not yet caught on to be extremely popular, even though like companies like Facebook, Metaverse, they have been pushing it for a long time. So because my company is young, we didn't have the legacy material. So we are building things in a new way in the short formats. And that is having a good connect with the seafarers. So presently about 34,000 seafarers use our training on the ships. And the feedback is very good from the seafarers who use it.
Captain Chawla, what do you think future is AI and metaverse for maritime will be add value or this will devaluate?
Okay, artificial intelligence is used by every vendor. I don't use it. I don't like to hype things up, but I generally see that most of the anybody doing any kind of service tries to throw in the buzzwords, oh, we are using AI. Reality is that AI will change things in the next 10 years, but it is right now just the start of that technology. And rushing in to say, oh, we are now experts on AI, I think is marketing hype rather than reality. Will it make a difference to shipping? Yes, it will. It will make a difference to every industry, to every job. What will happen is that human beings will become more productive using it. So we have one extreme of movies being made about how artificial intelligence, humanoids, robots will take over the world or they will, etc. Good science fiction possibly has, there is a danger of all that, but that's not like it's happening in the next 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years. Those dangers, I'm sure the experts are thinking about it. Security companies are thinking about it. But let's say for an average human being, it will improve our productivity. What we were doing in, let's say, 12 hours, we will probably do it in 20 minutes because we will have the assistance of generative AI or other kinds of things. I'm not an expert on it, but what I can say is that in every profession, there will be changes happening. I mean, in Hong Kong, the schools have already introduced learning about ChatGPT, etc., when the student is only 10 years old, because the educational institutions are understanding that this will have a big effect on people in 5, 10, 15 years' time. So the people who are small kids now will need to adapt to the world of AI and whatever it brings. And hence, it needs to be taught in the schools, colleges today. And the maritime industry needs to also follow the trends that are happening and use what is important for us. So as an example, we get a lot of data from machinery, we get a lot of data from all kinds of places where we fill up forms, etc. Use of AI will help in better understanding of that data and better insights by using that data. I mean, machine learning was also a buzzword I would say, until 2, 3 years ago. And AI is kind of based on machine learning. And so let's say if you have all the parameters of the main engine coming to a cloud server and you use artificial intelligence programs for the machine learning to give you the insights, maybe you can predict the next failure of the liner or the piston. We have not yet there to do the predictions as yet, as far as I know. I do take a lot of interest in this subject. But do I think it's coming? Yes, I think in the next 3 to 5 years, there will be a lot of new products that will use these technologies and our productivity will increase. So I am in favor of using artificial intelligence software, whichever kind comes out, and in trying them out and adopting what is useful.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see in the Teams meetings and Zoom meetings, you can automatically get the transcript of the meeting and then a summary of the meeting, right? So I'm sure after our conversation, you will press a button and you will make a transcript of all of this so that you don't have to make any notes. So that's progress.
Yeah, this is smartness. This is smart. Smart. Don't work hard. Work smart. That is the thing. But what is deficiency? There is lack of emotion.
Yes,
There's no
sometimes.
emotion. Yeah. I talk with you. I feel your emotion because we are human beings. Yeah, we can't be without emotion. So there is no emotion. Therefore, it get exhausted, tiredness. Because my team also working. I have my team on AI, and what they do, they not copy from internet. They copy yourself. That whatever you are doing, they will substitute you, but they can't substitute your emotion.
That is true.
So I think that this AI has used in maritime, but not at large extent. Some extent to facilitate, as you said, that data we have to not write. Yeah. Now we not make notes because we record everything. This is also a smartness, right?
Yeah.
When we go for meeting, we don't write all points because there is a recording. So this is a smartness. And what do you think about metaverse? There is any way forward for metaverse in maritime?
I'm not such an expert on a metaverse
but you are
overall.
expert in training. So you know that if metaverse come, this come on board that they can see in real virtual reality.
But virtual reality as a training tool is useful. So as an example, we have made something about walking around inside the four-peak tank. Now, this is done in virtual reality. Now, this kind of a thing was not possible when we learned ship construction. It was all 2D sketches and 3D sketches, and it was very difficult, at least for me as a student, to understand the structure. But now when I give the students the walk around inside the four-peak tank wearing the glasses, they understand it much faster and much better than what we understood 30 years ago. So for me, virtual reality has a lot of uses and it's an expensive medium. So if you want to recreate and, like in the games that they do, so that kind of thing is, so virtual reality does have a place in training. And whether we will build multiple players sitting across the world playing a game, I don't know, probably not in the next 1 or 2 years, because the cost of doing all that is still high. And the other one is that uh, not everybody likes wearing glasses and learning through them. That immersive experience, I would say majority of the youngsters do like it. When we were using it in the Anglo Eastern Academy, the most common word that the students used to use is, "This is awesome." So that, whether a 50-year-old master is going to say the same thing, that this is awesome, I don't know. But they will adopt it because it will come all around them. So, maybe first it's like any smart device, right? Most parents will go to their 15-year-old son and say, "Can you fix this for me?" So maybe in virtual reality, same thing will happen. They'll see their kids using VR glasses, and then they might try it out, and then they say, "Yeah, it's nice."
Yeah.
So,
So, Captain Chawla, please share your opinion that when we have a 100 types of egg dish, yeah, always
mhm,
this I feel headache for me.
mhm,
Always I face with seafarers when I convince them that please you have to do this training one day before joining. Yeah, whatever
yeah.
is happen always. Not 1 week, one day before, when they have to spend time with family, they have to do their indispensable jobs, they have to sit and train, and then they go on board and they collide, they ground. What is the use of then egg dish? Maybe we have to make one egg dish that like a car system. Yeah, in any car you sit, you can just maybe half an hour you spend and you can learn, at least you can drive, but not it like this. So what is your opinion as an expert in maritime, mentor and trainer?
Well, there has been a lot of work done on the standardization of the what was called the S mode in terms of egg disk. I think I'll tell you the reason why so much of confusion has happened in the market is that when egg disk course 1.27 was being written down, there was a provision to say that every seafarer must be trained on the specific egg disk for which they are going. So, which was called the type specific training for egg disk. One of the training companies made a lot of money out of that. Uh, the reality is that it's not that different. If you actually look at the incidents in the reports from any flag state, there has been no incident where people have said that the incident happened because the seafarer didn't know how to use the egg disc. It hasn't happened. So finally, when the course 1.27 came out, it did not have the requirement of doing type specific training. If someone has used an egg disc of any one manufacturer, it does not take that long for people to get used to the other one. Maybe, yes, 1 hour, 2 hours to know how the menu is there in the other egg disc. But if one can, or if one has the facilities to do type specific training, it's good. But if it is not done, it is something that can be taken care of in the familiarization of the seafarer when they go on board. So, which is allowed under the regulations, that you don't need to do type specific training. The reason why type specific training was not put into the 1.27 course in the final version is that logistically, how do we manage it? Do we have EGDIS simulators in Indonesia and Burma and Kenya and Ghana, wherever the seafarers are coming from? Possibly not. So also then the logic would need to be extended. Why not for every different type of radar? Why not for every different type of engine? Why not for every different type of generator? So logistically, that is not feasible to do that. The law is correct that there should be familiarization like with any other equipment. I mean, some of the things can easily be handled by just simple practices, that the crew is doing parallel sailing for 2 days or 3 days with the people who are going, and that is their time to learn these kind of things. So when in our days we went to a ship and there was a different kind of a radar, yeah, okay, 2 hours, the old previous second officer or third officer would teach us that on this radar, these are the way the controls work. And in 2 days' time, we were okay with it. So I do not believe that you need type specific training in that sense that you have to do the 5 day course. What I do think, and which I have tried but failed, is to that the course of 5 days is not enough. It should have been a 10-day course. Maybe now it's not so relevant, but when we were changing from paper charts to ENCs and egg disk,
Mm-hmm.
at that time, 5 day course was not enough because the symbols that were there on the paper chart are different now on the ENC charts. So, and there are still many countries that are still taking examinations on a paper chart. But that's silly because, like in Anglo Eastern, we didn't have a single ship where we didn't have dual egg disc, not now, maybe 5, 7 years ago. So taking an examination by a flag state when they are giving their certification, doing it on paper for a company which is not using paper charts, that is where the regulatory side of things is not okay. The test should be on what people are going to use on board. Important things like an underwater cable, the symbol is different on a paper chart and on an electronic chart. So I do agree that there, the regulatory framework was a 5 day course is enough, but in reality, that is not enough. But I did try to get this changed, but I don't think this was welcome in IMO at any time.
Captain Chawla, thank you for your impressive and so much details about this. But my question here, that which is striking in mind, that why we have to hundred of this type? Why not
Yes.
only one model of this? Because that is not a problem, that there is not any accident due to non-learning of this. Due to that they have spent time with this before joining. Therefore,
Yeah.
there's accident. Because I was witness of so many cases, hundred of cases, when seafarer, when officer, senior officer, master and chief officer join vessel next day, and whole night they have done like this, and they have a problem, even divorce with wife, and then they have a ground vessel, collided vessel. That is a problem, because we are human beings, yeah. And we have to understand that we have to relax and we have to do everything in a peaceful way. Then we can go and with pleasure join ship and handle in right way. That is a problem. There is a gap. Not gap that they have non-learning of like this. Of course, generic, they have a basic idea. Yeah. But there is a exhausted. There is a mental problem.
Yeah, but that can't be solved then by, handling that issue. I mean, it's a crewing department kind of a thing that, when do you make the people arrive? How much time is there for the part, etc. So I think there is a lot of work being done, especially by Nautical Institute, on standardizing. The opposite side of the coin is that the manufacturer says, you're not letting me innovate. My egg disc is better than other one because I give more features, which is also innovation needs to be encouraged also. So it's a difficult topic.
Yeah, of course, difficult topic, but we have to raise and find solution, because we are thinking about Wärtsilä, we are talking about electronic exist, we are thinking about Furono, we are not thinking about seafarers again.
Yeah.
Because there is no any problem with generic and this, they can, but they are spending whole night and whole day, and then they came to office and they are reflecting their mood, and then on ship also. I have seen 100 of problems like this, with Anglo Eastern also, with fleet management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and you tell me, how can ship owners and managers better prioritize the mental health and well-being of seafarers, especially considering the prolonged periods they spend away from home?
I think in the better companies, the mental health issues are being taken very seriously. I do know that in Anglo Eastern, there was a lot of effort going on trying to do things for the betterment of mental health. I do remember that we had training for making the seafarers aware on suicide prevention, like how to recognize signs of depression. I can honestly say that every year, maybe 20, 30 people were signed off uh, if they said something that they are not feeling good about for whatever reason, due to a family situation or whatever be the reason. Anglo Eastern always relieved the seafarer immediately to go home so that he's not working in a depression state or in a state of anxiety. Uh, most good companies will have helplines. They will have psychologists. I know in Anglo, we had 4 psychologists working for the company to whom the seafarers could reach out. We were working with with bodies like ISWAN and Mission to Seafarers, ITF. We always had the helplines available on board. Free phone calls were given to anybody who wanted to avail of that opportunity. So some of the fundamental things that are required for mental health is something called psychological safety. People need to be feeling comfortable to bring their problems to their master and to the company. And this is where ship owners, managers, crew departments, manning agents have to have a lot of empathy, that if there is somebody who is brave enough to talk about their mental issues, uh, then they should be taken seriously. I do have a problem a lot with manning agents in various parts of the world, that when people sign off from a ship by saying that they are depressed or with some mental health issue, the industry doesn't take them back. Then they make it really difficult for the seafarer to join back sea. They'll go through 3, 4 psychological evaluations, because now everybody's scared that if I take this person back on the ship, maybe he'll commit suicide or she will commit suicide. So, which is wrong, because you have to rely, for a broken hand or a broken whatever, we go to a doctor. When the doctor says medically fit, we allow them to go on the ship, right? Based on the ILO medical standards. But for mental health, we give them a lot of difficulties about joining back because we can't see the illness, right? And then we are stigma about mental health issues is still there in our industry as well as in general society. But I think in the world of manning agents and not permanent employment, this is quite a big problem. In many discussions with ITF also, I have said this, and I always said it very openly to say we as employers, I mean, now I'm no longer in ship management, but any employer of a ship manager owner needs to have that empathy that mental illness is like any other illness. If you have COVID and you've recovered, you can join back a ship. If you had a depression and you are cured as per the psychologist or psychiatrist and they give you a clean sheet that you're now okay, then you are okay to go. I mean, if people can go out to sea by taking a blood pressure tablet every day, so why not for a tablet for anxiety every day if they have to take? There is no difference. So here, the prioritization, the empathy is still not there in our industry and in many other industries, in society in general. I mean, 30 years ago, anybody going to a psychologist was, oh, he's gone insane. And that was the stigma. And it's the same to a smaller extent today in society also. I mean, if you see in any family I mean, in a lot of the countries, there is still a reluctance. If you count the number of psychologists or psychiatrists available as a percentage of the human population, you will not find the similar figure like you find for number of orthopedic doctors or, other kind of doctors. So why not we treat mental health as just another illness and have that empathy that we cannot see the illness. There's no broken leg or arm. The blood test does not say there is a problem, but there is a problem. If the person is depressed or anxious or whatever, so treat it like any other illness and be empathetic towards those people.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. And I am with you 100% agree. We should appear empathy to seafarers, not only to seafarers, as well maritime personnel who are working in office. Yeah. So empathy, there is a gap of empathy. Therefore, whenever any doctor, you see, some doctor do their formality. They send table Ukrainian, not understand what is written there. They tick mark, because 200 question for anyone, these are crazy things. Yeah. So they tick mark and then say, oh, there is chance of suicide. Who will take? You tell me. They are playing with their career. Therefore,
yes, absolutely.
Captain Chawla, like you leaders, we need who raise not just question and solution and address industry, because then industry will listen. Industry will not listen any simple people. They will listen that like you. So therefore, my request that you address this again and again, not only to ITF. Unions are.
Well, I do talk about it in every forum. In Posidonia, I was part of a forum on together with a company by the name of Learning Seamen, who are doing a lot of good work on mental health. And we did raise this issue even in that forum. And in all the discussions that I have, I do bring it up.
Yes. Also, I have also authored one book, Positive Mental Health. That not to go to doctor, do yoga, do exercise. When I wake up in morning, I not just jump on telephone. 2 hours every day, I invest in myself. Then I can expect from me positive things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And dedicated things. So people not invest in themselves. We have, as a leader in maritime, we have to explain them that your investment is your capital. And this is your health and wealth. You tell me, money everyone earning, but everyone happy? No happiness.
Yes.
So therefore, Captain Chawla, our task challenges, because you also veteran in maritime industry, that we have to create legacy, that maritime world become more positive with empathy, love, and enthusiasm. What is our GMC priority? I have same address to IMO, and they say that we have empathy to seafarers. I say, I don't see your empathy to seafarers, because you are not solving single issue. They say that we can't interfere. I say, you are not interfering, because seafarers, I always address that they are not Ukrainian, they are not Indian, they are not Filipino, they are seafarer. This is a nationality. You see? So thanks for your good, I can say, amazing talk, discussion. And last question I would like to ask you today, how can the industry attract and retain young talent to ensure the future success?
Young talent is available to come out to sea. And one of the things that needs to be done is to create a positive image of the industry. Unfortunately, events like the wars, etc., don't help in making that easier. But I can give you an example that in Anglo Eastern, for 480 cadets, we were getting 22,000 applications every year. So there is no problem of finding people to go out to sea. Retaining people for long periods of time may not be the same as 30 years ago. So the average number of years that people used to spend at sea earlier was somewhere around 15 or 20 years before they moved to shore jobs. Now that average is possibly, I don't know statistics, but maybe it's 12 years or 10 years, because a lot of the seafarers now are more ambitious and they go and do MBA programs and whatever and move to other industries. So as an industry, we do need to hammer out regularly about the positives of our industry. There are many, many positives about our industry. There is no other industry in the world where a 21-year-old is in charge of a $60 million ship and a $200 million cargo for 8 hours in a day when he's the navigating officer. So there are people who like that idea of getting high amount of responsibility. That is something that does attract people. Anybody with an engineering interest, if we show them how big is our container ship engines, they do get interested, because the best that they have seen on the land is a car engine or maybe even a locomotive engine, a train engine, but they've never seen something so big. So a lot of the youngsters do get interested in coming out to sea when they say, wow, I'm going to be working on an engine that is 4 floors high, so that does, so there are enough positives. The money is still good. I mean, in most countries, the seafarer's salary puts them in the top 5% of that country's wages. You can take more or less any country, even in a country like USA, median income is $75,000 a year roughly, but a seafarer from America gets $250,000 a year as a captain at least, right? So same in Ukraine, same in India. I mean,
Yeah.
and Indian captain on a tanker may be earning $15,000 a month, even if he works 6 months in a year. That's $90,000, $100,000 in a year, tax free. I mean, even the best of the doctors, best of the heart surgeons are not making that kind of money. So it's not like our industry is not paying well. It is paying well. And so, I mean, it's the job of every leader not to complain about their own profession, but to encourage people who want to come out to sea, who want to make that choice, that tell them a little bit about also the positive things. I mean, if they are working in construction industry, they possibly at a young age might be living in quarters which are, they have to work in 48 degrees centigrade in the Gulf. But on the ship, I mean, they are comfortable accommodation. There is no other industry where we have such strict regulations like MLC. We have strict regulations for everything to do with the life of a seafarer, and they are good regulations. So picking up, instances where, in any industry, if you take 5 or 10% of the industry is the bottom of the industry. They don't follow laws. They try to, go around and find ways to not follow the law. It's no different in shipping industry. I would say 90% of the shipping industry does try to follow the law, does try to do a good job, does try to look after the seafarer. And yes, like in any other industry, we have 5% where the ship owner or the manager is not doing the right thing for the seafarer. But that percentage is very, very small, because we are a well-regulated industry. At least for me, I believe that a lot of things are very good in our industry compared to other industries, because we have good laws. Pollution prevention. I mean, what's the pollution prevention laws for factories making shoes or handbags? Compare that with shipping. Our laws are much stricter, much better, right? Our seafarers, our workers are better informed about the planet, like in comparison to that industry, for example, right? And we don't really are not responsible for all the pollution of the world, but there are many other industries which are far more polluting. I'm not saying we should not do what we are doing to clean up the air, and greenhouse gas emissions should be reduced. We should be working for the IMO targets of 2030 and 2050. But all I'm saying is there is positive things also in our industry, which we need to highlight.
Yeah. One more question. I have raised to IMO also, and they say that they are going to very soon make this mandatory. Communication and leadership training.
Yes, it's going to be part of the revisions.
And you are agree, because when I interact with cadets, when I do training for familiarization, onboarding, they always say that, Dr. Vinay, so far no one taught us how to communicate with each other, talk. And this is very important, because without communication, we are not.
I agree.
Nothing.
My company, we make videos on how to communicate properly, etc., on the soft skills. We have a large number of videos which are all about mental health, soft skills, negotiation, interpersonal relationships. We try to do that.
Captain Chawla, video is good, but better to engage someone.
No, in the classroom training also it is done. So like in Anglo Eastern, we had many of these programs already running in the classroom also. Even in the cadet academy, we had.
That's good.
So
That,
yeah,
that's good. And IMO, they have assured me that they will make this 100% mandatory. So
yes, it
I'm
will be in the
happy.
next STCW revisions.
Yeah, because there is a gap of a lot of communication and leadership in our industry. Therefore, there is
Yeah.
a happening casualty. And thanks a lot, Captain Chawla, that today you have shared amazing things, which I think that all our audiences will watch with pleasure and they'll take benefits. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on your program.
Thank you. Thank you.